Hi, it's John Weisenberger, and thanks for joining me for this week's Chain Reactions Marketing Tip. Today, I want to take a look at a topic I think often goes under the radar in terms of the impact it can have on your business, and that's the idea of maximizing the lifetime value of your current customers, your clients, or patients, because that's the real key to generating more sales and income without having to chase a whole bunch of new prospects. Now, what I mean by this is creating a consistent and structured way of calculating and then maximizing the direct revenues from your existing customers, plus the indirect revenues generated by referrals made by your existing customers. That's the real secret to achieving the predictable growth and the consistent cash flow that we all want in our businesses, right? So to show you how to do that, so you can get the most out of your existing customers and all the referrals, this week I'm going to quickly show you how to use the Customer Lifetime Value Calculator that's available for download in your members area. So before I do that, let me tell you just a few more words about why it's so important to know your customer lifetime value number. So, one mistake I see way too many small business owners making today is that they're overly focused on new customer acquisition. They're essentially spending way too much of their time and money on a lot of marketing mumbo jumbo that, quite frankly, just doesn't work. And they're essentially just throwing their marketing dollars down the drain on lead generation and new customer attraction programs because that's what all the other marketing consultants and gurus are telling you to do, right? You know what I mean? They're telling you to do more SEO, to use Twitter more often, advertise more on Facebook, and so on and so on. But actually your best marketing return on investment will come from marketing more to your existing customer base. Now, in fact, I believe many businesses today are so overly focused on new customer acquisition that they're actually ignoring their existing customers almost to the point of neglect, and that's just shouldn't happen. It's actually causing them to lose some of those customers that they've already spent a lot of their marketing money on acquiring in the first place, and that just doesn't make any sense to me. So my question for you today is, why do you think so many businesses focus so much of their time and money on new customer acquisition when it's so much less work and far less expensive just to increase the amount of revenue they're getting from their existing customers and their referrals, rather than chasing new prospects who, in many cases, may actually never spend a dime with them anyway? So the answer is, I believe, and the reason for that behavior is, it's mostly because most business owners don't really know what the true lifetime value of their existing customers actually is. Because if they did, every time a good customer for their nail salon or their coffee shop or their accounting firm, every time a good customer walked out the door in a huff, they'd say to themselves, there goes another $15,000 of lifetime sales, instead of, well, there goes another $50 manicure or a $5, cup of coffee. So before I show you how the Customer Lifetime Value Calculator spreadsheet works, let me just briefly go over some of the benefits of focusing on customer lifetime value and why understanding customer lifetime value can lead to lower marketing cost and more consistent cash flow and actually a greater income for you and your business. So why focus on customer lifetime value? Well, the first thing is understanding the lifetime value of your customers. That'll allow you to see which of your customers are the most profitable so you can give them the special attention they deserve. And conversely, you'll spend less time on marketing to new prospects who may never buy anything from you anyway. In fact, statistics show that the probability of selling to a new prospect, it's only 5 to 20%, whereas the probability of selling to an existing customer, it's upwards of 60 or 70%, and that's a huge difference in your chances of making a sale. Now, the second benefit of customer lifetime value is when you understand who your most profitable customers are, you'll be able to identify opportunities to upsell them with higher margin offerings that you know they're going to want and that they'll buy. In fact, statistics have also shown that repeat customers will typically spend 33% more on their subsequent purchases compared to first-time purchases by new customers. So When you understand your customer lifetime value, you'll be able to optimize your marketing dollars by targeting your most profitable customers. In fact, it's also been shown that it's 6 to 10 times more expensive to acquire a new customer than it is to keep a current one. So focusing on customer lifetime value marketing could help you free up some of your cash for use in other areas of your business. And you have to ask yourself, how could that help your business grow faster? So by now, I hope you're starting to see that knowing the true lifetime value of your customers and keeping that value front of mind as you work on your marketing, that'll keep your marketing efforts focused on making sure you're taking exceptional care of your existing customers so they'll keep coming back to you over and over again, plus refer your business to all their friends, their relatives, and their colleagues. So with all that said, let's take a look at how simple it can be to calculate customer lifetime value. So I'm going to show you this formula, and in the simplest form, customer lifetime value is simply the average value of all the purchases your customer makes times the amount of months or years that they'll remain your customer, plus you need to add in the value of all the purchases that'll be made by all the people they refer to your business. And this second part is crucial. You need to be thinking beyond just your current customers and think about the amount of money you'll make off all the other referrals that the happy customer will give you. And we're going to talk about that more later in another area. But with that as background behind us, let me now switch my screen over to the actual calculator spreadsheet so I can walk you through a few of the examples so you can see how customer lifetime value can really multiply quickly when you start looking at the number of repeat sales, if you can increase that, or if you can get more referrals, because referrals will drive your business and it'll grow it faster and cheaper than anything else you can do. So let me switch my screen over and we'll walk through the calculator spreadsheet. All right, I'm back now, and we've got the simple customer lifetime value calculator spreadsheet up on the screen here. And what we're going to be doing is filling in the green boxes here with information about your customers, clients, or patients, if you're a doctor, chiropractor, dentist, things like that. Or perhaps if you're a consultant or coach, you could use this calculator to help a client figure out their customer lifetime value as well. But assuming you're a business owner today, I'm going to give you an example of a couple industries and let you see just how quickly customer lifetime value can be multiplied and grown if you get your customers coming back over and over again, and particularly when you see the power of having referrals. So let's take a winery example here, a typical small business. And if we look at line A here, the dollar average of a sale, let's say that the typical visitor to a winery, after their tasting, they leave with a 3-pack of wine at roughly $20 a bottle. So let's put $60 here as the average sale for that 3-pack of wine. Now, for line B, the number of purchases per year, let's say that they go back to the winery. On average, they go twice a year. And for line C, the number of years they've been a customer, let's say that they like this particular winery and perhaps for the next 7 years they think it's a great place to go. They enjoy the experience, so they go back again over and over for 7 years. Now, in the case of a winery, people might go longer than that, but let's say this was a restaurant and the average dollar spend for 2 people, for a couple, was $30 each for $60 for the average sale, and they go to that restaurant twice a year. Going back 5 to 7 years is a pretty common lifespan for a customer at a restaurant. You know, a lot of people's taste in food changes, or they get bored with the menu at a given restaurant, or some restaurants don't even stay in business that long because of the trendiness of that industry. So same way winery, this example, whether it's a winery, whether it's a restaurant, anything like that, 5 to 7 years is the typical life cycle or lifespan of a customer, but winery could be 20 years, right? You could be going from from their 45 to 65. So anyway, we'll put 7 years in for the number of years they've been a customer. But then the next thing, line D, this is where it really starts getting powerful, because if you look down here at line G, the gross sales over lifetime as a customer without referrals, that customer is worth $840. And that's, quite a lot of money when you think about, if you think of them as a $60 customer, maybe not so exciting, but if you think about them as an $840 customer, you start recognizing the value of having them come back twice a year for the next 7 years. But if you look at line D, additional referrals provided by that existing customer, let's say that they go and they tell 2 of their friends or 2 of their relatives or work colleagues every year that they really love your winery. So we'll put 2 in there. And out of those 2 people, this becomes important to line E, only some percentage are actually going to visit the winery and become regular customers like the initial customer. So let's say that out of those 2, let's say one of them, we'll put in 50% of those referrals become customers. Well, now, if you look at the numbers down here at line I, the lifetime sales from the referrals is over $5,880, right? Because they're getting 1 new customer a year based on that word of mouth advertising that's coming from that initial customer. So now the lifetime value of that first customer plus the referrals that they make, that word of mouth, advocacy they're giving for your winery, that $60, that first sale is worth actually over $6,720. So if you start thinking about it in terms of the amount of sales you can make, it's quite a multiplier effect, right? So, all right, so we looked at a winery. Let's take a look at a personal coach now. So I think a lot of the people that are part of my Chain Reactions marketing program, a lot of you guys are coaches, and this I think will show you the value of not just your initial client, but also of the referrals. So let's take a quick look here. So on line A, the dollar amount of an average sale, let's say you charge $150 for a typical phone call. And the number of purchases per year would be, well, how many times per year do you actually have calls with your coaching client? Let's say you do it every 2 weeks and that you take off 2 weeks for Christmas. So let's say you have like 24 calls a year, okay? Now, the other part is how many years do you keep that person as a client? So, typical coach might keep their client 3 years. So let's put 3 years in line C, the number of years as a customer. Now, if we do that, you can see that the gross sales per year for that coaching client is about $3,600 a year. And over that 3-year period on line G, the gross sales over their lifetime as a customer for that coach is $10,800. So it's pretty good, right? Nice little income there from one particular client over 3 years. But where it really gets powerful is the additional referrals provided by existing customer per year. So if that customer and client of yours is getting results from your coaching, they're likely to tell some of their friends, their relatives, or their colleagues. So let's say they go out and they tell 4 people they know how great a coach you are. And then on line E, out of those 4 people, let's say that 25% of them become new clients. So essentially one out of the 4 will become a new client per year. So if you do that, you look down at line I here, lifetime sales from the referrals, that one additional client will add another $32,000 of revenue, right, to your business because you're picking up 1 new client per year. So the lifetime value of that initial $150 an hour client's now $43,200. So if you start thinking about your client not in the terms of a $150 per hour client, but in the terms of a $43,200 lifetime client, that makes you think about that client a lot differently, doesn't it? And it also makes you think about the power of referrals. So let's look at that. Let's look at line E over here under the increased target percentage, because one of the powerful things about this simple lifetime calculator spreadsheet is you can do a little bit of what-if planning around your marketing, and you can see what levers here you could pull in column G and what the impact is on the new lifetime value of your customers by doing that. So let's go over here and let's say the percentage of referrals who become new customers. Let's say he raises that from 25% to over half. So we'll say that 50% now become lifetime customers, right? All of a sudden your lifetime value of that initial client goes up to $59,400, right? Or let's say he decides to raise the price of a per call price by 12%. We'll just use 12% and say now it's $168 per hour. Same amount of purchases per year, same amount of years you stay a customer, same amount of referrals, but now that customer or that coaching client becomes a $66,528 lifetime value client. So I think you can see this calculator is a pretty simple tool. It's only looking at simple things like number of years the client is retained. It's looking at the number of sessions or purchases that are made per year and the dollar amount per that typical purchase. But the important part is the multiplier effect that referrals have. And I think the point that you need to take into account is anything you can do to raise referrals will certainly help you increase the overall customer lifetime value of that initial client. So I hope you found this video useful. Download the actual spreadsheet calculator if you haven't done so already. Again, it's available in your members area, and use it. I think you'll find it's a very useful tool to give you a different perspective on the true value of existing customers, and perhaps you spend as much of your budget or allocate a little more of your budget towards retaining and keeping those customers loyal, because that's the best way to grow your business. To find out how you can use my Chain Reactions marketing program to attract more leads, create more customers, clients, or patient loyalty, plus generate massive amounts of new referrals, just go to cxchainreactions.com/learn more, and I'll show you how today.